You're listening to The State of Play, your quick-fire roundup of all things Irish football and beyond. Coming up on this episode, the FAI have their man, new Ireland manager set to be announced within the week. What next for Chris Hughton? Robbie Keane gets his first trophy as a manager. Boban quits UEFA, and it's FA Cup weekend, and that means Irish players playing football. All this and more coming up on The State of Play. You're very welcome to another edition of The State of Play 2 in a week, you lucky beggars out there. David Dunn here, joined by Martin Prendergast, as per usual. If you like what you hear, do give us a cheeky follow down the bottom right-hand side. You can see there's a QR code if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, why not? And also you can have a cheeky listen to us over on, well, basically wherever you get your podcast, really. Spotify, all those happy places. But yeah, give us a follow. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Come on. You know you want to. We are trying to grow the YouTube channel, so please, please, please give us a follow. Anywho, Martin, how are you doing? Haven't seen you for what? A couple of days?
Yeah, a couple of days, Dave. It was, yeah, but it's a few days. Lots of speculation, Irish football. It's been an exciting time, as I always say.
Stirring the pot on social media, Martin.
Gauging interest is what I was doing, Dave. I'm not into clickbait kind of stuff, to be honest. But I put it out there. I put up photos just on our page on Facebook. So if you're not a follower of that, make sure you do. And also Twitter, just to kind of put up some kind of posts like we had of, you know, the potential candidates for the manager role. With all the speculation and media coverage now ramping up, which is fantastic to see. You know, it's getting close as well to games coming up in March. We've got the Nations League draw in February. So
February 8th.
Everything's just building towards that now, and we're hoping we're going to get our manager announced. So, yeah, I just put a post up of, you know, Chris Hughton. I put one up of Lennon, a couple of jokey little posts as well, and people kind of accusing us of clickbait or just... It was brilliant, actually. He got a lot of interaction. Thanks to everyone who is giving interaction to it. You know, everyone's giving their feedback. Giving their feedback of why they don't want certain people, or this is what's just happened. And I actually quite appreciate the people who even just go, no. Quite simple. So
they're just like, yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah.
No, we're going to read out some of those comments as promised, because we did actually say we'd read some of them out here on The State of Play. And yeah, my God, there was a lot of comments there. Very, very, well, it's been a very eventful couple of days, actually. In fact, since we last recorded, it was announced, I think, literally minutes at Chris Hughton was fired. I had actually crawled into bed and had a little quick check. And yeah, he was fired and attacked by a journalist. So, verbally attacked by a journalist. So there you go. You never know what's going to happen. But we're going to have the latest on the Republic of Ireland manager situation today. And yeah, I can't wait to get into that. Very special day, Martin, today, isn't it? It's the time of recording, which is the 25th of January, 2024. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's 29 years since a mad Frenchman basically hold on, where's the picture? Attacked a Crystal Palace fan in Selhurst Park. Here he is. Look at that. Kung Fu fighting.
Yeah, I mean, great image there. I mean, I didn't realise that Del Boy was there. If you look above Cantona's head in this image, Del Boy's there in the crowd. I like the fact, actually, this is in... You've got to remember, he's jumping into the Crystal Palace end. There's a few Man United hats in there as well. It's a little bit of a mixed crowd. Always was a fantastic away, to be fair, going to Selhurst Park. And yeah, iconic moment in football. I mean, I actually remember where I was for this moment.
Where were you?
I was actually sitting at home listening to, I think it was Capital Gold Radio. A lot of people forget that this match was not televised. We've seen the footage so much, right? But it was never televised, that game. And I think that's quite fascinating to follow, because everyone just thinks, yeah, I remember where I was.
It was banned.
I watched that. It was banned for a while. Yeah,
they weren't allowed to show the footage for 20 years, something like that.
Yeah, good while. Yeah, and I was listening to Jonathan Pearce doing the radio coverage, and yeah, that's quite iconic. Even listening to that, and it brings you back to sitting at kitchen table doing homework, listening to Man United. That's what you'd have to do then. You didn't get all the live matches on Sky. Every game wasn't on, and we didn't have our dodgy fireboxes and things like that. So. You know, it's just an iconic moment. And yeah, look, I mean, I that was a perfect time for me growing up, and Cantona was a massive hero of mine, my favourite ever Man United player, and
He
yeah, that was it.
he was
Brilliant.
sentenced. He was sentenced to jail. They appealed
Yep.
it, and then he did a bit of community service. And then
Yeah.
what was it? The seagulls are in the sea, or the trawler, or
Follow the
something.
trawler. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was all
I
very.
actually was at the hotel. I was outside the hotel of that where he done that famous speech. When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they believe sardines will be I was outside that hotel the other day because that's where I had my wedding reception, St Albans.
Oh, well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Probably the second best speech ever was Cantona's after my obviously wedding stuff. But
Or the
so,
best man speech, or whatever it was. God.
but
Um,
yeah, like a amazing moment in football history.
yes,
And
thuggery, football thuggery. But of
I
course,
was
it's
thinking
it's
if you he was kicking racism out of football, and he took it literally, and he set a stamp, didn't he? Interestingly, again, by that moment, I don't want this to all be about Cantona,
yeah.
but
You know,
you
we
got
do
to
have a
remember,
podcast to do.
no, but you remember, like, Paul Ince got charged as well with kind of a fray that night because he offered out the whole crowd there. And you got to remember, like, Roy Keane was probably quite a good lad in the context of that evening. He's there as well. I have watched it back tonight just to see, like, geez, I wonder what Keane done, like, and how come Keane's never really been asked or spoken about it. So it is quite an interesting one. And I've been lucky enough to kind of bring this back to my relationship with you, Dave. I was lucky enough to meet Cantona at a night in the Palladium when the security wasn't the greatest.
I wasn't on,
And
so
no, you weren't on. No,
no. Of course, I would
yeah,
have seen you
it's
and
a story for
thrown
another
you out.
time.
Give it a few months. No, yep, I do remember that. Watching it, God, it was just absolutely insane. I mean, fair play to Cantona. The guy was a twat. Do you know when they sentenced the guy? I cannot remember his name.
Matthew Simmons.
Yeah, he actually attacked the judge, didn't he? He went for the
Yeah.
judge.
Yeah,
Because he said, "I'm not, it was again, it's not my nature to do this." And then he attacks the judge when he went.
But even that whole thing actually started a bit of a kind of war between Man United and Palace kind of fans in a way, like a lot of vitriol and things like that. And that actually carried on to the semi-final of the FA Cup the year after, or even, I think it was the year after. And where United and Palace played a game, and there was actually hooliganism before the game. Crystal Palace fan was sadly killed. And then they had the replay then, and that was, the fans and police had asked for, the clubs had asked for kind of peace and everything like that. And that was where Roy Keane, when he stamps on Gareth Southgate.
He did, yeah. Because
So
Southgate.
there was a lot of history there.
I was listening to the overlap the other day, or I was stick to football, and he said, "Yeah, you were going through his red cards," and he said, "Yeah, he deserved that one."
Southgate came through the back of him.
Yeah, he was actually a dirty little fecker.
What's brilliant about that? Look back at that, and you see when it's all kicking off, and Keane actually first person he shoves afterwards. Do you know who that is? Ray Houghton. Right, so he launches him after Irwin. He kind of clips around loads of players coming in, all kicking off, and all you can see is Southgate still on the floor and standing over him, going like that with the finger, like pointing and telling him off, is Dennis Irwin. Very funny. Well worth a watch.
He's a little rascal. He is actually, Dennis Irwin, because he started a brawl, didn't he, in Old Trafford with Arsenal
91,
back in 91. Yeah, and it was a brawl, proper fist was
Yeah.
thrown. Anyway, this is not the Man United podcast. Let's talk a little bit about Liverpool. Of course, they were down at Craven Cottage last night through to the Carabao Cup final, and I see Fulham's American owners are getting ready for another possible Donald Trump term.
Yeah, geez, that was ill thought out, wasn't it?
That is dread. If you're listening, basically, we're sharing a picture in the Johnny Haynes stand of they put these white flags out and they kind of rested him on the seats, and he looked like KKK members. It's really bad. And I love Fulham, actually. I worked there, had many happy years there working there. I was a supervisor. I used to run all the, I used to close all the roads down around Craven Cottage, so they would turn Stevenage Road into a pedestrian zone, and he used to bring all the coaches down. And my friend got a bollocking because they were in the championship for a bit, got a bollocking from Mick McCarthy, and he came back with a big smile on his face. I was like, I just got bollocked by Mick McCarthy. This is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, that could be a podcast in itself, some of the stories from that. But anyway, we're going to move it on to the Irish stuff. We probably lost about several listeners listening. I'm sure not. See, that's what the state of play is about. We talk about all aspects of football, not just Irish. Right. So let's move on to Carsley. This is the big story in Irish football at the moment. So here's what we know so far, and it'll probably change by the time you bloody hear it. Hopefully, it hasn't. I'll probably go to bed now and he'll pull out of the race or something. I'm blaming you, Martin, if he does. Right. So no official approach yet. Although, actually, according to Wikipedia, somebody's jumping the gun here, Martin. Did you see this? A snapshot of this. Lee Kevin Carsley, Republic of Ireland head coach, current team. Give it time. So, no official approach just yet. Mark Hannam, who is the director of football for the FAI, is set to recommend Carsley to the FAI board on Tuesday, basically to make a formal offer. The delegation, an FAI delegation of Canham, Bonner, Packy Bonner, and Jonathan Hill, CEO, apparently were in London doing interviews, and Carsley is set to be the man that they want. The salary, if it's accepted, but the salary that's supposed to be on offer is 650,000, I think it's euros per annum. That's 100,000 euros more than what Stephen Kenny was on. It also must be noted that the betting has been suspended as well. Paddy Parrott have even written an article about it. So this looks to be pretty much locked in. And, you know, we have been talking, Martin, haven't we, for some time about the betting markets. When you're a few weeks out, you don't really take notice of it. Someone drops 100 quid on a manager, they shoot to the top because there's, you know, you might get 5, 10 euro or pound bets, whatever, you know, a little bit here and there. But when someone drops maybe 100, 200 quid, that manager just, the price just goes right down. But since they put a deadline on it, which was to have a manager in place by the 8th of February, as you said, will be the draw for the Nations League in Paris. So this is endgame, really. You happy?
Yeah, I've seen it. No, I've seen it reported as well that some substantial bets were placed Thursday morning, so that's why they suspended the betting.
We know
because that would be it. So someone knows.
Do you know he's 9-1 for the England job, for the next England job? Carsley is.
Yeah, I did see that as well. Yeah, and it's yeah. I mean, it's just interesting. It shows you like where his stock is, I suppose. That he's there now. I know there's a natural link then with obviously coming from the under-21s with England and having success with them, and that could perhaps kind of be their pathway. But yeah, I am happy ultimately if he's getting the job, and I think I truly believe that Zinedine Kilban has played a blinder as a secret agent in this. Well, maybe not so secret agent. I think that was a really influential piece he did in the Times, I think it was. And they're all breaking the news now, all the journalists and that. It was interesting listening to friend of the pod, Dan, saying, you know, what he'd heard and what was thinking was happening. And you know, I think the FAI have done really well keeping this under wraps. Tried to do a bit of snooping myself, to be honest. I'll let that out now. I've got some events with Risk London that I'm trying to plan and got some contacts. And I did reach out to Packy Bonner about that, thinking, oh, he might let it slip that he's in London. But he just said, yeah, I'll catch up with you. But I am meeting him in a few weeks' time now, because we are in a actual event with him and Shay Given at the Irish Centre in Camden in a few weeks. I think we will put up some posts about that and how you can get tickets on the socials. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting up with him then, and hopefully we'll get their thoughts on the new manager, basically.
Well, speaking of thoughts, we asked for your thoughts earlier on. That is the lovely followers of Lansing Road and Roar. We did post up when it was announced that the new Ireland manager, Carsley, is set to be announced within the next 7 days. Got a lot of likes, 700 likes, which ain't bad, I suppose. And we had 255 comments here. It's just on the Facebook page. Positive is from I can see Marty McDermott. Great choice for the Republic of Ireland. Brilliant, says Danny Darcy. Great appointment, says Darren Laird. This is true. It would be our best choice, but it could also ruin his coaching career. It would be like trying to make a good racehorse out of a donkey. That's from Podrick. Happy days. Best of luck, Lee. Best candidate for the bunch. Good luck to him. Really struggling. Brilliant news. Played a high level. Good fit for where we are. Good choice. I cannot see a negative comment here whatsoever. I'm scrolling through and I can't see it. Hope so. He's the right choice. Well done. Great choice. Get the team moving up the world rankings back up. Moving up the world back up. I don't think rankings that's meant. Surprised me he is taking it, but happy. even a couple of the lads, my mates as well, they're delighted. They're actually surprised because he was in the running and then he apparently wasn't interested in it anymore, and it looked like it was going to Hughton. It kind of interests me that he's getting £100,000 more than Stephen Kenny. Do you reckon that was a? I'm not trying to make it already. Oh, it's just about the money. Look, you got to pay the man. You got to know your worth. Do you reckon that was maybe it? They upped it a little bit, and
it would certainly be significant. You've got to pay for. You've got to know your value, haven't you, in life? And I think he's not going to come cheap and say I'm doing it for the same price. I think it's a different job for him. He's a relatively young man,
yeah,
but he's had great experience. I mean, to say he's inexperienced is completely wrong. He's done very well with Man City in the youth sections. He took on an England under-21 job, and I think Aidy Boothroyd, I heard it said about today somewhere that Aidy Boothroyd, when he had that before him, said it's kind of a poison chalice. You can't do anything with this job. But he actually done something that no England manager's done apart from Serena Wiegman. With the women,
and he did it in the
he's
right
actually
way.
won a trophy. Yeah,
and he did it in the right
won a
way.
trophy, and he's had incredible talent. And even like people saying, well, he's never managed high-profile players. Like he had Sancho, I think, and maybe Foden or someone else in the Man City team at youth level. Maybe not Foden, but I think it was Sancho certainly. So he's worked with elite athletes, and that's what they're working with now. He's worked with a group of youngsters as well, under 21s. Now, yeah, you can say that the England under 21s are such a strong group, and look, a lot of them would be, they're all actually in first teams now. With a lot of them with English football clubs,
Yeah, I mean,
basically. So he's working with a different caliber of player, but he's improving them. That's the thing, and I think another key point for this is, I probably had this mindset, thinking of why Hughton and why even like Mick coming to the job before, and those kind of candidates. And it's a very valid point that we kind of see. A lot of us kind of think it is a kind of when a coach is quite successful in a young age, right? You think, oh well, they're that's brilliant, but they're a club. You're a club manager then, right? And it's the international gig is actually something for when, like for example, Steve Bruce, Allardyce, they're all going to that then because they've had their time in club football. They've been relatively successful. Mourinho is obviously one day will be the Portugal manager. I think that's going to be beyond doubt.
yeah.
But it's changed a little bit. Southgate was a relatively young England manager. So to have other coaches come in, quite young men in a sense, and women, I suppose, but coming in, and it should be the elite level, really. It should be the best job you can do. I know Stephen Kenny used to call it the best job ever, but it should be a very attractive job. And I think the Ireland job is.
I think it is.
And it's quite good and challenging for
Yeah.
Carsley to come in and take on this group and go, yeah, why does it need an old experienced head? It doesn't.
No,
it needs modern coaching.
These tropes get thrown around. Oh, to say bare hands. What does that mean? He knows his club inside out. That's a classic one. What are those? What does that mean exactly? No. I'm very pleased. Look, it's a risk. Of course, it's a risk. Every manager is a risk, but I'd rather them go for innovation than an old, tried and trusted, safe bare hands. This usual nonsense. If it does go through, it hasn't been ratified just yet, but I think we can safely say that it's going to happen. Looking at some of the managers, obviously we will keep you up to date, and once it's ratified, and we'll go again. I'm sure we'll get Nick's take on it as well. Some of the managers, obviously, that were, they were
in contention, I suppose.
In contention, yeah. Chris Hughton, obviously sacked by Ghana, had a disastrous AFCON. Journalists really having a going for him, fans going for him, fired. I mean, you kind of wonder what's next for him. Really, 65 years of age. Maybe it's probably time to move away from it. Really, let me pop onto the Raw page because you, young man, were stirring shit the other day. Hold on, where is it? So you asked, and our survey says, right, switching to Raw. They don't make it easy for you, do they, Facebook? Right, let me go to tomorrow. So you asked, that's an interesting one. Sorry, I just saw something crazy there. You asked about fair play to Chris Hughton, a massive challenging taking on Afghan. On Ghana at Afghan, Jesus. Lots of expectation from media and supporters. Best luck to him wherever he does next. And a few people weren't very pleased with that. Lovely wording, relieved of his duties, says David Morrissey. He didn't do well at all. I like him, but he just managed 0 points in the group. Well, that's not true. Shouldn't he be doing better with the squad? Again, a bit worrying if he's top of our list. FAI next up, still would like Lee Carsley as number one. Tony Ames, very average managerial career. I'm going to pop over to some of the comments here because I think they were a bit, because I asked the question a bit more directly than you did, Martin, because you were sort of you kind of playing with it, but I actually
I'm nice.
no. See, I'm direct. I'm more direct than a Jack Charlton tactics board. So I asked the question there yesterday: would you still have him? Would you still want him as the Ireland manager? And I got a couple of hundred comments. Peter Carney, not for me. Someone that will continue the good few things from Kenny's reign, but better tactically and a bigger want to win games. Not asking for much. Matt Irvine, yes. Dominic Flanagan, definitely. Alan Fisher Warnock for me, I think he's taking the piss. Kieran McGurk, yes. Jared Neary wants Roy Keane. It's a bit mixed. Brilliant manager who will give us all for Ireland, says Michael McAndrew. So there was still, even after those disastrous results, there was still, a call there for Chris Hughton. But I guess he's a safe pair of hands. And then I asked the question then about Roy Keane, because Roy Keane said, didn't he, on the latest episode of The Overlap, or Stick to Football, he said, oh yeah, I'd like a bit of that. And I asked the question, would you like to see Roy, would you have him thoughts for an upcoming episode of State of Play? Got 620 likes and more comments than that. 660 comments. Yeah. Basically, best man for the job. Yes, with Kenny being kept on as coach. Says Damien Guy. Pat Sheridan, yes. Tom Lally, yes. It is starting to become a very drawn-out process, says Marcus Howlett. Ned Keogh. Lansdowne Road. Roy Keane says he's interested in becoming the next Ireland football manager. Well, if this is true, all I can say is that it was always nice to hear good news. Go on and sign him up and let him get on with the job. I'm sure. Looking forward to the future of Irish football. Yes, about time. Yeah, a lot of people want him. Want Roy Keane as manager? God forbid, says Conor Bourne. Good man. Casper Fox, of course. Will he qualify? Yeah, it's just definitely better than Carsley. Stuart McDonald, cracking beard, he's a handsome lad. Sign him up. Stuart McDonald. Yeah, a lot of people. Wanted Roy Keane as well. It's just mad.
I think it's probably for the fun factor, though, in a sense, and they're probably, they just know that it'll be an interesting challenge with Roy there, and it will certainly be fireworks and things. Whereas I think Carsley is, ironically, to use the words you said earlier, safe pair of hands. I think because the experience of youth, I think they want this Mark Canham, who we're investing a lot of faith into. It's the whole way through. He wants to be someone who's worked at that age group coming through now and working with young players, perhaps understanding young players and stuff. And it's not just, biting bollocks, as Roy would probably bring to it, because he'd be having a go and expectation of things. I think you even seen, didn't you, recently with Troy Deeney? Did you see that at all? He was with Forest Green and he got fired, and he's calling out players. And
did he get a 6-match? He got like a 6-match ban because he was threatening the referee.
Oh, I don't know about that, but this is like he's sacked from the job. He basically come out and he's absolutely hammering his players, and they've said you can't speak about players like that anymore.
No,
you can't do that in the media. And even Martin O'Neill, actually a friend of the pod, friend of you, Dave, Martin O'Neill was kind of scathing, saying you can't do that. And I was actually thinking, hang on a second, I'm sure you kind of did it with Doherty after, didn't he? That, to be honest, that's Doherty. But yeah, look, I think I think
basically slating on his forwards saying, well, I don't have a Robbie Keane anymore.
Yeah. So but I think he wasn't as probably personal as naming someone and going, the bloke can't trap a ball when he can't do this, and it comes off his shin pads, and which is what happened. And I think Roy is just too brutally honest to things. I think Carsley, what would be interesting with him though will be the handling of the media with Ireland, and I think it'll be interesting actually to see how, I mentioned in the last one, what the response will be if he does get the job of, the opening press conference, and then, what is, it's a difficult one if you're a friend of someone and played with them like Boban. If it does ever go wrong, or you've got to be impartial, it's quite a difficult challenge for people to do that because you're kind of on the fence. And what was interesting with Stephen Kenny, I think he didn't have enough of that to kind of help him along the way.
Stephen Kenny's press conferences were absolutely atrocious. And
no, we know that, but I'm saying he never really had the friends and everyone backing him. I think Carsley coming is a real positive list. I think everyone will give him more of a chance than Stephen Kenny ever got. Because but you have to give him time. The hardest thing as well. He's got a World Cup to qualify as well for, which is harder to qualify than Euros. That's the first campaign he's going to go into. But
I think he just has to make a fist of it. He just has to make a fist of it. I don't think we're not expecting the top of the group. Just make a fist of it. It's a lot still, and we will move it on because we'll have all this stuff. We're going to be covering this in a few days, so we'll talk about this another day. But yeah, there's plenty. Look, I think he's got plenty to work with. He'll have the backing of the media. He needs to get the media on side, and I think the Irish media are quite fair. They were very fair with Stephen Kenny. He'll have all the ex-players on his side, something that you said Stephen Kenny didn't have. They're all against him really because they kind of saw that he ousted Mick. But anyway, we will be back when he is announced, if he's announced, but we reckon he is. We will be back with an episode of State of Play, and we'll keep you up to date if there's any other little curveballs on the way. Right, we're going to move it on, and we will get back to that, I'm sure. Next up, Robbie Keane. He won his first trophy as a manager. He won the Toto Cup.
Yep.
Go on, Robbie. Yay. No one really cares, unfortunately, because of the country that he won it in, Maccabi Tel Aviv. He's, what is that, like the Israeli League Cup or something, is it? Or
something like that, yeah. I don't.
Not really
interest at all.
No interest. We haven't even done a picture, really.
Quick question to the listeners and viewers. From the 2002 World Cup squad, excluding Roy Keane, excluding him because he didn't go, how many have managed and won trophies? That'll be a question. So just got to put it out there. Come back to us on that. Let us know. Answer on a postcard.
I'm trying to think myself, actually.
Well, we mentioned 2 already.
Lee Carsley and Robbie Keane.
So
Duff never won a trophy.
No.
Do you actually know? Do you actually know?
I'm putting it out there. No, I've just thought of it off the top of my head. There's 2 anyway, isn't there?
I don't think any of them have really managed, have they? Wasn't very managerial.
That's the thing.
Stan.
Yeah, Stan. McAteer was assistant, wasn't he, with John Barnes?
Oh, down at Tranmere, yeah.
What was it? In the car.
What was it? I remember. Oh yeah, I remember.
Brilliant.
I was watching that in my mate's house. Frank, if you're watching, how are you doing? So yeah, the Sky Sports News just burst out laughing. He just turned around and goes to me, God help him.
Yeah.
Rubbish. But anyway, that's in the comments.
So I think
there,
it's anyway. 2 then. I think it's 2.
Well, yeah, it must only be 2. Yeah, not much fanfare. But, obviously, what was it? We can't really cheer when the screams are so loud. I think was one of the comments. No, that was the That was one of the comments. I mean, that's what you're up against. But Robbie's. I'm just there to talk about football. But anyway, but not much fanfare there whatsoever. One story though did pique my interest, and I think it's gone under the radar a little bit. In fact, probably because of the whole, Lee Carsley thing, I suppose. But that is Boban. Do you remember him? I presume it's the same Boban. Great player for Croatia. But Zvonimir Boban has quit UEFA over basically the UEFA president, Alexander Ceferin, rule change. Now, I wasn't aware of this, but back in December, Ceferin proposed to rearrange his own rule. And that rule was that you couldn't serve more than 3 terms because obviously there's one massive problem in football, cronyism. And we saw it ourselves. We had a CEO in charge, I think, for nearly 15 years. Too long. We saw what happened. Just too long. So UEFA basically said, and it was Ceferin's rule, we're going to change that 3-year maximum to limit corruption, to basically, keep fresh ideas, keep it fresh, which makes perfect sense. Well, in December, he's actually said, well, you know what, I want to change that. And he had the backing of all the Eastern European federations. Said, yeah, why don't you change it? Because you're brilliant. We love you. And then he wanted to change it. And it's going to be ratified, by the way. And Boban went, mate, what are you doing? What are you doing? I love you, but this is absolutely ridiculous. You're going against your own rule. I quit. I think Boban deserves lots of credit there, Martin. This is a massive problem of football, isn't it? People hanging on, not just problem, but just the corporate world. People hanging on for too long. It doesn't do anyone any favors. It leaves them open and susceptible to. Well, but we saw it here in Ireland. What happened with John Delaney?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is crazy, yeah, but I mean, it's nothing surprises you in the administration of football at that very high level. We've had it with
Power.
FIFA, now UEFA. It's power, and it's
Power
very
corrupts, man.
difficult to relinquish it. I mean, where can he go, Zephyrin, if he steps down from that role? What's he doing? That's the thing. And
Took over from Platini, didn't he?
yeah,
Who
and
was done on corruption.
yeah, and but yeah, that's just football administration. And to bring it kind of back to Irish football, I think that's one of the good things about this managerial appointment. It's been very well handled in the sense that we haven't had a lot of leaks from it. If this was still under a previous kind of regime, you would they're doing the right thing now. They know they are accountable to the board. It's not letting their mate in the press know, yep, this is happening. It's going to be next week and things.
Yeah.
None of that's happening. They know now they're accountable to a board, and I think probably which is that's it. And that's why in my little tag for the viewers, I've got it today as hoping for tremendously efficient FAI. There you go. I know. Friends of the pod, as we know, Dave, some personnel within the FAI, so we'll give them a big shout out as well, and thanks for all their support.
No, and look, we don't work for the FAI, and we don't. But do you know what? We're independent, and we do give you your voice. We express our opinions, and yeah, they to their credit, they've been very good with us with access, that sort of thing, with media passes, and we're just voicing the fans' opinion. Really, we're giving them a platform to really have a word, to really get their voices out there, and we read them out. And
we've given credit though to them here, because I think they've handled this quite well, and I think
they've handled it very well.
It's just they know they're accountable to a board now, and
yeah,
they're doing things as a business should do. That's what should happen.
It's disturbing almost. I said it to my mate, like, this is a bit disturbing. Like, the FAI going about things quietly and efficiently. What is going on here? Where's the leaks, Martin? Where's the drama? Where's the shit? There's none of that. It's just been very okay. We're going after Carsley. Oh, actually, no, we can't for whatever reason. Oh yeah, now we are. Yeah. Okay. That's it. And then hopefully he'll be appointed, and then that's it, and he can crack on with it. Now, it's been very good. Very happy. To be fair, with the way they've dealt with it. We give the FAI plenty of welly, and we do, and it's rightly deserved. But you know what? We also have to give credit where credit's due. But it's not over the line just yet. But so far, it's been very, very good. Speaking of over the line, that's a crap segue. FA Cup, Martin. Before we go, FA Cup football this weekend, which means Irish players actually get to play lots of fringe football. So you've had a look at some of the key games. We're not going to bore you with the pools.
Yeah, we're not going through the fixtures. Jesus, no. Like, before I go into the FA Cup, though, I think it was telling that, well, I'm going to give you a bit of a Liverpool moment now, but, fair play, Liverpool. We didn't even mention their result. They've got to the Carabao Cup final. I actually posted up an interesting photo from the Milk Cup many years ago, featuring Ray Hughton and Davy Langan, absolute Irish legend, Davy.
He was the one that recommended Hughton, wasn't he, to...
Yeah.
To Charlton.
And Aldo as well, I think it was as well. So
yeah,
brilliant. Like, and again, I'll put a shout out to people. I know Davy's quite he's a very humble guy, to be honest.
Very nice man.
Many times, had him at Risk London events and stuff, but very, very quiet and unassuming. And I hope he's doing well. I know he's had some troubles in his time and stuff. And fantastic book, actually, Running Through Walls. Highly recommend it. I mean, what he did for Irish football was amazing. Like, he took so many steroid injections and stuff, and it ruined him basically physically, and he's had a tough time. But yeah, people did ask me. That's why I mentioned it. Do you know where he is? How he's getting on? So if anyone does know, please give us a shout. But yeah, just back to the Carabao Cup. Kelleher got through the to the final last night. I think Klopp has said that he's going to be starting in the final, which again is brilliant, because there's a lot of speculation. That obviously the transfer window means he's not going anywhere basically, because the Carabao Cup finals are 25th. It's a month's time of February. So he's obviously, there was a lot of speculation that he could be getting a loan move or moving somewhere. Now it's football, we don't know. But in the immediacy of last night's victory against Fulham at the KK Clay reunion down there, as you've mentioned, the him to come out and say that he's deserved this and he'll be getting his opportunity again is brilliant. That's something before on the Carabao Cup. But yeah, the FA Cup this weekend. I mean, as we've often said, coming into the new year, you have the first week of the third round, and then you have obviously this round as well. And it is an opportunity for some of our players who have been on the fringe of football time, basically, to get the opportunity. Remember, Adam Eder got the hat trick that time as well for Norwich. So I'm hoping that we're going to have a big weekend with Brighton, with Evan perhaps getting an opportunity there. They're away to Sheffield United. So I'm hoping that one will be up. That will be one I'll be keeping an eye on. I think Ogbene as well, I'll be keeping an eye on him with Everton. Obviously coming up, against Seamus Coleman, still doing the business there. And the other game, I mentioned, it was just because I kind of watched it this year in the league. It was a very entertaining match. I'd say keep an eye on it would be the Watford game against Southampton, just to keep an eye on how Gavin's getting on.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's on Sunday. Yeah. So, very entertaining game there. We've got Cousin Will in there as well. So
West Brom Wolves
as well. So
that's a derby, isn't it?
That's a derby. Yep, Midlands derby, West Midlands derby. That one. So yeah, there's lots of football, and it's just I think another one to keep an eye on. I think a player who will be definitely someone I would keep an eye on for Ireland. Finn Azaz, who went to Borough. They got an absolute hiding the other night, didn't they, to Chelsea? That must have been very disheartening for them. Now, he was cup tied. He did play the week before. He's one, though. I think, as a player, I think he's just got an incredible build. He's a big lad, and I think he's one that will definitely be a player that we've got to keep an eye on. Actually, a bit of transfer news. I did see speculation. I think it's Jimmy Dunn could be going to Blackburn from QPR. I think it's Blackburn.
I saw a thing on him on Twitter that he was playing in the Middle East somewhere. I was kind of going, what? There's a lot of jokey, there's a lot of bullshit posts going around on Twitter. Mostly an Irish football blog. No, I joke, Bill. If you're watching, he's very good. Although you need to cool it off with the rumor thing. We get it. You were called, with your rumors and all that. Calm down. It's fine. It's okay. He's a bit sensitive, our Bill. Don't know from Cork.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Nick's done a fantastic. We'll give our own podcast a plug, of course. Nick done a really good interview recently, didn't he? That's just gone out as well.
Sean O'Shea, yes. That is out there at the moment. That is available. We're going to put that up on YouTube tomorrow today, Friday. We're going to have it up there on Friday as well. Fantastic interview there. So yeah, we've got lots of stuff coming up on the YouTube channel. But and of course we will be live. We're going to wrap it. Will we wrap it up there, Martin? Yep. We're still recording, Martin. Don't worry. There's not an outtake. Right. We're letting them in. We're breaking the fourth wall. See that? Breaking the fourth wall. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you for that FA Cup roundup. We will be live. We will be back this Sunday, 9:30. Martin and Nick to give you Lansdowne Roar live. I won't be on. I'm sorry, but real life getting in the way. But we will be back with a state of play at some point early in the week. We're going to try and do 2 a week, Martin. Is that it? Two.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, it'll be dictated to by what's happening in the news, obviously, and we'll be immediately in response to
might be more
that's happening. Yeah,
just depends. Tuesday apparently though is going to be a big night. Tuesday we might actually do an emergency break glass and do on Tuesday night, because that is when the board are going to be recommended to, well, Mark Canham makes the recommendation of Lee Carsley to the board on Tuesday. So we might be back there. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for watching at home. I've just done my microphone there. As always, please, if you're not subscribing to the YouTube channel, please go on, give us a cheeky subscribe. If you're watching on your desktop, you see the subscribe button on the screen, bottom right, QR code. Just get your phone out, just get your camera on that. Boom, it'll pop up, and it'll have our entire link tree on that. You can head over to greenmachinepodcast.com. Loads of articles, by the way. It's not just Nick or myself, whatever, writing articles. There's loads of guys. There's Connor from Republic of Ireland Tracker. There's Bill, as we said, from Irish Football Blog. You got James. You got all the lads over there. Some fantastic, brilliant writers over there. Some very interesting takes. So head over to the greenmachinepodcast.com, the greenmachinepodcast.com. We will be changing that. website address, thelandsandmore.ie, but not just yet. We're just getting a few things sorted out. And yeah, please give the YouTube channel a cheeky subscribe. Go on. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be back on Sunday with a live episode, and we'll be back next week with a state of play. Basically, whenever the play states it. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? Sorry, Mark. I'm stealing your material. Anyway, listen. Good night. God bless, and safe home.